I don't know what I would do if I could eat lobster 3 times a day. Like, I'd probably be a crazy person. My sense of reality would be totally warped.
Funny thing, lobster, it was actually food that they served to prisoners. You know that?
Some lucky prisoners.
They actually, they couldn't get rid of. It was like considered as a pest. It was like a rat thing.
It's like
vermin
if
thing.
it's like, like a lot of deer, they were overrunning these forests and eating all these berries and shitting everywhere. It's like if they immediately turn into cows and they're just like filet mignons, right?
What? Huh?
That's what you're saying.
Well,
Because
no.
lobsters are just so many.
This
We're
is
like,
a
we
true-
gotta just
This
feed
is a
these to
true story,
prisoners.
though. Like,
I know.
there was a lobster. Like it was considered as a pest, like sort of like vermin.
Well, it is like a bug.
Yeah, and then they served it to like prisoners in a prison, and
Where is this prison?
I don't know. I don't remember the exact details of the story, but I think it was like somewhere in Europe, and they served it to prisoners. I guess not knowing that the prisoners were having a kick-ass time, right? They're like, "Woo, lobsters again!"
Oh my god!
You know,
they're getting like the powdered eggs,
yeah.
and they're just like chopping up their lobster, and they're having a lobster scramble. And
yes,
shit. They're
and
just...
you can imagine these prisoners are like, one guy's like, "Oh, dude, this is so good," and the other prisoner's like, "Shh, shut up. If that gets out, they're not gonna serve it to us anymore. Just shut up.
Right.
Just pretend to hate it." And they're like, they're pretending to hate it, like as a collective, so that they can keep getting the lobsters.
And like the underlying theme of that was like it taught them teamwork and communication.
And then they escaped. They escaped together.
Right. And the show is now called Prison Break.
They escaped, started a restaurant, and started serving lobsters. And that's how it became a gourmet dish.
So one of my former... they started the lobster craze.
Yeah, they started the lobster craze.
And do you know what this gang, if you will, what lobster craze, what franchise they started?
I think they were the guys who started the Michelin star. The Michelin star.
Yeah. They actually, this is a true story. They're actually the ones that started Red Lobster, believe it or not.
Very true. Very true. These prisoners escaped prison, bound together by their love of this dish, and started Red Lobster. That's why when you're in a Red Lobster, like with your family, you often feel like you're in prison.
That's actually a beautiful story. Like all these prisoners in here for different reasons, different crimes, and they're not even able to, like, they were in some island in Europe, and they were just like, these people cannot be rehabilitated. We've got like the worst of the worst here.
Feed these mofos some lobsters.
Yo, lobster is good in every form.
And someone's like, but warden, we can't feed them these disgusting things. They're prisoners. They're sinners. Just feed them the lobsters. It's like, okay. And he gives them the lobsters, and they're like, oh, what is this? How can we eat this? This is disgusting. And they're like,
Yeah.
They're like,
I'm gonna do some fact checking later. I'm almost 99.9% sure that it is how Red Lobster started, but we'll have to do some fact checking here.
Just letting you guys know, though, all you industry insiders, I know you're listening to this podcast because someone tweeted me, and they work at Lucasfilm. Okay, they work with Star Wars, and someone else from Disney also contacted me. Okay. And I know you guys are listening to this podcast. If you turn this Red Lobster origin story idea into a film, we own the rights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta option it. Okay, from us.
Yeah.
It's like Shawshank. Okay, think about it. It's Shawshank Redemption with lobsters.
But even better.
Clawshank Redemption.
I like that. Where are we going with that?
The untold story of Red Lobster.
Lobsters, where are the lobsters?
I don't know. I think you talked about like eating lobsters every day.
Oh, right.
When people are super wealthy.
Right.
Yeah, like when people are super rich, they go crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of them do. And they do some crazy shit that they got to be punished for, and well, that's what Hostel is basically based on.
And as a disclaimer, Hostel is not about lobsters. I would recommend that you watch a trailer. Watch a trailer, really know what you're getting yourself into, and also the movie I mentioned before. Again, this is the most serious thing I've ever said on this show. Proceed with caution. This is one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen in my entire life. It almost broke up my relationship, and Brian Coe from EN Management almost left the company before it even began.
Let me tack on another disclaimer. This is about Red Lobster. I've only been to a Red Lobster once in my whole life, and it was unwillingly. I had to go. Like, it was the only thing in the area, and I had no idea what Red Lobster would be like, and I walked in there with great trepidation. And
what does that mean?
Like fear. Like, okay, I was very, because I had heard that Red Lobster is not that great, but
not cheap.
But I got there, and it wasn't cheap, and it was actually delicious. Is all I want to say.
Right.
So all you Red Lobster people out there, you're doing a good job, I think.
You guys are doing great. And I think that's so interesting because I had a former teammate from Maine. He lived in the middle of the woods, kind of like Tablo in Vancouver. I think he had several tree houses. But wow. He was telling me that he's surrounded by lobsters. And apparently lobsters aren't like sea-dwelling creatures. They're like freshwater, like chilling in lakes and whatnot, right? Yeah. Like the crustaceans, like they are in fresh water. Again, I could have completely made that up, but
I think you did.
But my understanding of Maine
doesn't matter at this point.
Right. Maine lobster rolls, all that. I think they're really sourced like from Maine. And my image of it, there's just like lobsters everywhere you go, just like worms on like a sidewalk. You know what I mean? Just overrun with lobsters.
Dude, look, I just Googled lobsters. How lobster went from prison food to an expensive delicacy. So I was right. We did make up the whole Red Lobster part of the story, right, but that's what films do. It's based on a true story.
Right.
So
again, if you try to take this and you try to turn this into a film
or like a TV series,
just know that we're coming after you.
Yeah, we're coming after you.
If it doesn't hit our inbox, if it doesn't even slide into our DMs for the Tablo podcast, at the Tablo podcast on Instagram or Twitter or even on Facebook, just know that we're coming for you.
Okay, right? This article is unnecessarily malicious. Okay, I don't know if they had to do it this way. Like, this wording, I don't like. How lobster went from prison trash food to delicacy. Okay, I see you're making the same point here, but did you have to add the word trash? It's like how lobster went from prison food to delicacy. That's great. But like how lobster went from prison trash food to delicacy. Lobsters are living things. Come on.
They're living things. And, this is something that my dad told me growing up, right? Food is food. You should be very lucky to eat food in general. Never call food trash, even if it's,
even if it is, like, even if it actually literally is trash.
Yeah, it's still food.
It's still food.
So we're definitely very lucky in this country, in Korea, and also in America, and to have access to so much food.
I'm grateful for every meal I have, even if it's not a lobster.
I've eaten Quiznos 20 days in a row. Every single time, I'm just like, yo, this is fantastic.
Hey, I've had imitation lobster. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the color of lobster. It's not real lobster.
Right.
Okay, and it doesn't taste anything like lobster.
Not even the texture.
I was still grateful for it. Because I just closed my eyes and I imagined like it was lobster.
Dude, how much longer are we going to let California rolls get away with this imitation lobster?
Another question. Spicy tuna roll, right?
Right.
Why are they called spicy tuna rolls and not spicy tuna cones? Because it's the shape of a cone.
You're thinking about the spicy tuna hand roll.
Yeah, the hand roll. Why is it a hand roll? Shouldn't it be called a cone? It looks like a cone.
I think it's because you hold it in your hand.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a roll. It's a cone.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Spicy tuna hand cone
is what I think it should be called.
I think it's because cone people, think of ice cream.
But, it says spicy tuna, though.
Right.
Why would they get that confused?
Dude, listen, I don't have all the answers. All right. These are all great questions, though.
Oh, so producer Diane trying to bring us back on topic. she's like out of nowhere. We're talking about California rolls and like lobsters,
Just
and she's like,
out there
"Weren't you guys in a haunted place, like a venue?" Yeah, we were. We were in a haunted venue for our Vancouver show.
You are listening to the Tablo podcast.